Hello and welcome back to another WoT Blitzs video with me, I'm Spider7. In today's video, we are once doing another top 5 video, which this one was pretty hard to choose from because in the WoT Blitz there is a lot of ugly tanks that you would think not so ugly, but when you look twice, then you realize, yeah, very ugly. Needs a serious face change. if you don't mind me asking. But I think honestly I was gonna put these tanks in, but it would have been just all of the anime tanks, and I can't really put all the 5 anime tanks in just because they're all ugly in some sort of way. They are pretty not nice. They're not that nice. In some people would say they are, but for me, they're not. So let's get straight into it. And at number 5, at the number 5 spot, which I thought this tank was, I don't know, some people like it. I don't mind it. It can be quite strong at some points if you're facing, if you're high tier. If you're the high tier, then it's pretty strong. But the number 5 spot for me would have to be the T28 HTC. This tank obviously is the number 5. It's because, to be honest, it's not a pretty tank. It's got a really weird turret that can turn over 45 degrees angle to the left and to the right, which is pretty strange. No tank I really think as a TD has that kind of curvature of looking left or right. And to be honest, it hasn't really got the best paint job. It's got too many scratches. If it was just a nice plain white, fully covered all over it, give it a little brush, a little clean, get rid of all the scratches, then I think it'd be pretty nice. But as everyone knows, there's the giant weak spots at the back, which just make it look really ugly, as they stick out way too far. So that's going to be my number 5 spot. So number 4. This got really hard choosing this top 5, because I found at least 3 or 4 tanks I hated and I didn't like the look of. So number 4. The number 4 place has to go to Lee. Even I've nearly forgotten what my top 5 is, because it's just going to be keeping going back and forwards of which tank should be top 5, what shouldn't be. So, number 4. If I can remember, it is the... Oh yeah, now I remember. Top 4. Number 4 has to go to the Crump. The Crump. Yeah, what were they thinking of when they made this tank? What were they thinking? Oh, we're just going to get a normal Tyrant and then just going to stick it on top of a headset hole. Why? Out of all the tanks in the game, why combined those 2 tanks together? Like, the headset by itself is great, but doesn't need a turret on top that does not match. Headset is good as a TD, doesn't need a turret. It's good as it's just as good as it is. But to be honest, if you're against tier 4s and tier 3s, maybe tier 3s, this tank can be quite strong. The top plate, quite strong. Lower plate though, the lower plate, pretty weak. But it's still, you can get some bounces if you're skilled enough with this tank, which I don't play it at all. I can't remember the last time I played this tank because no one likes it. I haven't seen many of these. So yeah, that's beyond my top 4. So Number 3. This place had to go to the really ugly, but one of a kind, M3 Lee. Had to go to the M3 Lee. The reason why I had to go for the M3 Lee is because just look at it. Okay, in this camera it doesn't look very good. Full stop, but just look at it. It's the gun is not even centered, it's on its right. It is massive. What is the it's just such a strange looking tank that, to be honest, it's nice looking, but it's not like it's nice looking. It's really not. It really isn't. It's just ugly. To be honest, these are all my opinions, which some of them you may understand and may disagree or agree. And I'm hoping you are agreeing that the M3 Lee is just an ugly beast. It's a good tank. I'm not saying it's bad. It's a good tank, but it's just not very pretty. With that humongous, like, hatch kind of thing. Turret, like, the tank has a second turret, but the turret doesn't fire. Real life does fire, but in tanks, no. Nope, doesn't fire at all. Which if it did, it'd be quite cool, but no, it don't. It really doesn't. It just comes from this gun. Which, to be honest, it can't move that much to the left or right as many tanks. I haven't got much to say to this. It's just not a pretty tank. It's rememberable. I do remember like the model of this tank for so long because it was one than the older ones. The ones before 5.5. The ones everyone remembered and known to everyone. But certainly not to me anymore because I don't play it. But the top 2 ugliest tanks. Yeah, everyone remembers them. Everyone kind of hates them. Kind of hates them. Kind of do, kind of don't. But yeah. So number 2, it goes to the, if I can remember the name, the SAU-40, if that's what it's called. I swear it is called. Yeah. This tank. This lovely tank. Yeah. Again, like the M3, what were they thinking with this gigantuous? I call it a tumor, but it's a really horrible way of calling it. Just why? Why do you need that giant thing? As the other one, as the M3, it has no armor. Okay, maybe the most tiniest bit of armor. If you have the most worst penetration in tier 3, then sure, it's got a bit of armor. But why give it this gigantuous thing, man? It would have been great. It would have been great without it. It kind of reminds me, just a slightly bit, without this, reminds me a bit of like a Stug. A tier 4 Stug. But why do you have to point it the other way? Why? Just why? If this was turned around, then it wouldn't be much of an eyesore, but it would have been still a bit of an eyesore. Because why are you focused? Why is that turret focused behind it when the battle's at here? The battle at the front. So why? Just why, man? The horrible thing on top of its bloody thing. Such an ugly tank as well. I really can't look at this much longer before my eyes hurt. Such an ugly TD. But yeah, that brings us to number 1. number 1. This is not the number 1, but I'm just picking another tank for you to show. But number 1 has to go to another French. Many people like this tank. Many people hate facing it because it's good, because it's strong. But this tank that you can pick, it has multiple turrets to choose from. And if you pick its stock turret, for some reason or another, it is a hideously big turret, which is not needed for any reason or no. That was my phone. Great. Why are you calling me? Sorry. But number 1, that has to go towards the ARL 44. This tank. Just, it had to go for this tank. I was switching from number 2 and number 1. Kept on switching. But then realized this has to be number 1. It has to be number 1. It is such a box head. It really, okay, rectangular head if you think about it, because it's not square. Just why even have this turret? Oh god, I'm speechless with this tank. I really don't know what to talk about it. It's a horrible tank, horrible gun. I think I haven't played the tank, so I can't really say much about it. Hasn't got any front armor on the turret, but then once you go to the other turrets, you can't tell, but I think it has more. Yeah, but the other turrets are just more damage, more penetration, but this turret, why? I'm glad you don't see many of these turrets out there, because no one plays stock. Everyone goes straight to the max out of the turret, which I don't blame them. I really don't blame them for going straight to the max out to get away from this hideous turret, which some of us love and adore it. But I really don't know why you would. Just look at it. A giant box on your head with another box on your head. What were they thinking? What were they thinking of 2 massive heads, 2 massive turrets on the top? Makes 0 sense. Zero sense. But to be honest, I could have made a top 10, top 50, top 100, because you don't realize until you start looking and realize how many ugly tanks there are. It's ridiculous. So many tanks. And a lot of them are the lower tiers. Tier 1 to 4. There are a lot of the ugly tanks in tier 1 to 4 to 5. But I'll save that for another day. As that's going to be it for today's video. It's been pretty funny trying to find really ugly tanks which no one really plays anymore. Do play it. But yeah, I hope you did enjoy this top 5 video. I have got more ideas coming out in the future, in the next week or 2. So do feel free to stick around. Keep a lookout for those videos, which could be coming soon. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming to the end of the video. If you have, then please do let me know by tell me in the comments if you've made it all the way to the end, and if you have, means a lot. Thank you. So, I want to go home. Bye for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another WoT Blitz video. Bye for now. Peace.